So Jason, what you're wearing right now, everybody's seen the t-shirt before. Just talk a little bit about the K for Cancer t-shirt and how you got involved.
We started our foundation back in 2011, 2012. My wife's grandfather was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer a little bit before our wedding in 2010. 2011 season, we kind of had some questions like, okay, what can we do to help? How can we help the people that are helping, my wife's family during this tough time? And he was getting his treatment done at the West Cancer Center in Memphis, Tennessee. It started with that simple question. We started out doing an event in Memphis, Tennessee, a fundraiser, an auction. We had some food, drinks, just kind of hang out, silent live auction stuff. A couple years later, I met a little boy. I always wear a couple bracelets. I met a little boy, Brant Ballinger, when I had Tommy John in 2013. And it was just one of those things. There wasn't a lot of stuff being done for like childhood cancer stuff. So for me, like I said, it was okay. That question came up again of okay, how can I help? This shirt. The company that makes it, 108 Stitches, had one that just had a K on it. They make a bunch of baseball apparel. So I was like, hey, we do an event in Memphis called Strikeout Cancer. Could you make us some shirts and just put cancer underneath the strikeout to signify, hey, let's strike out cancer? They're like, yeah. So we bought like 300 of them to like sell at our event in Memphis. Just kind of like, we sell them at our event, hand them out to different players and, guys that wanted them. A couple guys, David Carpenter, who was here with the Yankees, Craig Kimbrell, Jason Grilly, John Lester, a couple of those guys reached out to us like, hey, we like your shirt. Can we get a couple of them? I was like, yeah. Sent them some. They started wearing them more. People started asking about them more. And that's kind of how we started with the whole Strikeout Cancer shirt thing. It was just, like I said, a little simple thing that we thought we'd get. We'd buy some shirts and sell them at an event. And, now for the past 3 seasons, we have a player on every team, a representative on every team, with proceeds from each of their K Cancer shirts going back to a cancer charity that they support. Everything from this year, Batanzas is here. He does work with Memorial Sloan Kettering, to Craig Kimbrell in Boston. He does stuff for curing kids with cancer. John Jay, who I played with in St. Louis, is doing stuff for Make-A-Wish. And like I said, we got stuff all different sides of the spectrum, kids, men, women, and this disease affects everybody. It's not just it doesn't just affect grown men or women or kids. It kind of a lot of people know people who are affected by cancer. So it's something for us. It started with a simple question of how can we help. Like I said, it's turned into something like this that we really never thought it would ever turn into. But it's like I said, it's pretty cool to see them around the ballpark, seeing people wear them, seeing other guys on other teams wear them, just mainly to show your support for those who are going through this. And like I said, at the end of the day, that's what it's about, is helping others and showing people that you're not in this fight alone, and that that people do care.
And you do a great job too on social media, spreading the word and using photos and videos and all that other stuff. So how important of a role has that played with really spreading this message, especially using the baseball players? You mentioned Dylan Batanzas, right, Craig Kimbrell, all these guys.
Yeah, social media is really how it got started, honestly. Like I said, I'd wear the shirt when I was with St. Louis. I'd wear it in the dugout. If we did like a pregame show or if we'd go on the field early, people would see me wearing it. They'd be like, hey, where do I get that shirt? And at the time, I had it in my garage. And I'm like, I'm not giving you my address, sorry. But it was literally, like I said, once we put them for sale on the 108 Stitches website, it was really just us tweeting stuff out. And like I said, people would, I get pictures daily, of people sending me stuff like, hey, I got a shirt, my mother's battling breast cancer. Hey, I bought a couple shirts. There's a kid up the street just got diagnosed with leukemia. We've got some for him and his family to show their support. That's really why we do what we do. And the reason behind it, like I said, is to help others and show people in this fight that, like I said, you're not doing this alone.
So you turned a real negative, an injury, Tommy John being out for the entire year, into a real positive, right, and you're back on the baseball field, and not only are you back on the baseball field, but you're also having a positive effect on so many people's lives, because it's just that mentality. If they have that shirt, if they see their favorite player wearing that shirt, it really gives them a lot of strength and courage. So to get through whatever they may be going through.
It's crazy. Like I said, when we first started, we bought about 300 shirts, just to kind of, sell them at our event. And when I had Tommy John, like I said, so many people can sit there and like, oh, poor me, I'm hurt and this and that. But to be honest, there are way bigger things in life than Tommy John surgery. there's people up the street here fighting for their life with cancer or other things, other diseases. Cancer is just something that affected our family, my wife's family, and my family. So it's one of those things that meant a lot to us. So for us to go out and do it, and like I said, try to help others was big. We have a quote on the back of every T-shirt from Roberto Clemente, and it's every day that goes by that you don't try to help others, you've wasted your time on this earth. Roberto Clemente went out and he was always, trying to help people, doing stuff like that. And I've had talks with Carlos Beltran when he was with St. Louis. It was around time when I started making these shirts and doing stuff like that. And it was just one of those things that in anything we do, you make time for what you want to make time for. And like I said, if we can use this platform to help others, and like I said, at the end of the day, baseball game, I get to come out here to Yankee Stadium today and play a big league ball game out here. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's things bigger than a baseball game. Like I said, there's people fighting for their lives. So if there's a way that we can help, show our support, and show those people that, like I said, I've said it before, like you're not going through this alone, and people do care. And people on the mound, people on these fields, we're normal people. We have the same issues, same problems that everyone else has. We're not immune to any of that just because we're out there playing baseball. We have the same real world problems. So for us to be able to go out, and for me to be able to go out and help others is a really big deal.
So what's your next step? Where do you see all this going? Because the shirts have done really well.
Yeah, the one I have on right now is for Father's Day. We had one made for Father's Day for prostate cancer awareness. MLB does a big thing for Father's Day. We wear all the blue. MLB does a lot of stuff with Mother's Day with the pink. We have a pink one for Mother's Day. Last year we had one come out in September. September's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. So we had a gray and gold one. Gold is childhood cancer awareness, the color. So we had one for that, which, for me, it was kind of my initial thought when we first started this whole thing, and why we did it was, trying to get the shirts out and show support for childhood cancer, and the fact that we've been able to get it out for Father's Day and for men, Mother's Day for women is pretty cool. And like I said, I never thought we'd have a guy on every team, a representative and stuff like that. But it is awesome because, like I said, it shows people's support around the league. It shows guys around the league coming together for a common goal. From my perspective, it's cool to see all the other guys helping out. It's getting more people involved in different things and stuff like that, which is pretty cool.
And for those watching, how can they find these shirts? Where can they get them?
The shirts are available at 108stitches.com. You go there, click on have a big K Cancer logo. You can click on that. Like I said, you can pick on your favorite color, your favorite team, your favorite player. Like I said, we got guys like here in New York. We got Betanzas. I know.
Who sells really well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you guys probably aren't very big Craig Kimbrell fans, but I think the shirt's pretty cool. And that's one of the cool parts about this is, yes, we have guys on different teams, and you can go online and get the one and support your favorite player, but a lot of stuff with us doing this is cancer. It doesn't have a favorite. It doesn't have a color. It doesn't have a favorite player, and that's the reason of us doing this is having everyone involved. It doesn't discriminate. So like I said, if you like the blue and red one, it may be Boston colors or Minnesota Twins colors, but hey, maybe that's your color.
Whatever looks good on you, whatever you feel most comfortable in.
If you feel sexy, rock it. But when we came out with our pink one, a couple people were like, oh, I don't know if guys will wear the pink one. I'm like, I guarantee guys will wear pink. I'm like, I know I'll be wearing the mess out of mine all the time. So, like I said, we're happy to help out. And like I said, hope some people go out and, get a couple shirts, show your support, wear them out to the ballpark, because I think that's a pretty cool thing. Like I said, I've talked to Betanzas, I've talked to other guys around the league, and guys like, man, I keep seeing more and more come out to the ballpark, and that means that more people are getting involved, which is pretty cool.